doing is I'm stepping this way and I'm pulling. When I pivot and I pull, he should step this foot. That's what I want. So again, I'm pulling, I'm stepping. And when I step and pull, I'm not just kind of standing straight up and trying to pull it this way, because I'm not going to get much of a reaction. At the same time, I'm also pulling down and pulling. That's going to get that really hard step. And then this hand that's on this sleeve grip, all I'm going to do is drop down and pick this ankle. Step back and bring it up. I can finish her in here, or step back, swing it back to the inside where we were, do our finishes. For right now, all I want you guys to do here, step, pull, ankle pick, pull it up, get it in here. All I'm gonna do, I'm basically gonna trap down on this knee here. I'm gonna bring him here. I'm gonna go down with him and I'm gonna come back up. That's all I want you guys to do for right now. Good. Sleeve grip, lapel grip, collar tie, whatever you're most comfortable with. Pivot, pulling hard, dropping down. This knee is going to be either right in front where I can pick this ankle, or if you get deep enough, right next to it. Just come in here, and all I'm doing from here, I'm stepping back and pulling it up. Come here, got to touch in my armpit, pushing down on this knee, kind of flexing my shoulder up to get this ankle elevated. As I push down on the knee, stepping back. Notice how I drop to a knee here. I'm going to pull him down with me. I'm coming up. I just want you guys to get there for now. Any questions on that?
Yeah, when you're pulling down, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you got that sleeve grip, are you throwing this by to come here, or are you just letting go and going to it?
So the majority of the time you're just gonna let go, because this takedown is gonna be quick, snappy. It's gonna be hit and hit. As soon as he steps, I'm gonna go for it. If you want to, when you practice it, if you want to push this arm, that's fine. But the majority of the time when you do it real time, doing it fast, all you're going to do is let go of that and reach over and pull. Okay. Any other questions? Need to see it again? Cool. 1, 2, 3. And a really simple way that I've noticed when I get here to pass the guard is a simple arm drag. Arm drag, leg drag. It's like an arm drag. Yeah. Just reach over here, grab that, pull it across.
So unorthodox.
All I'm doing is I'm leg dragging here, so it's like your arm drag, where you're reaching kind of for his elbow, except you're thinking about his knee. I'm reaching for his calf, and all I'm doing is I'm pulling to the side. Notice I still have that cup, I still have a grab. I can grip a pant leg, I can keep a hold of this here. All I'm doing is coming down here in the side control. So after your takedown, you get to this position here, get your grips, start fighting the feet down, whatever. Even if I'm pushing down here, once I let up a little bit on this one, all I gotta do is pull it across. And I'm stepping in, I can put a knee in this thigh here. I can slide down in here, get my side control. While I'm still pushing this leg down, so I fall. If I drag this and I just let it go, all he's gonna do is he's gonna square back up. Sorry. He's just gonna square back up and get his knees back inside, put me in guard, and then I gotta fight to pass his guard again when I just had it pass. Again, let's go one more time. Real simple. I like to grab the pant legs here. All I'm going to do is I'm going to push down on them, put some pressure on it, let up on this one just a little bit. You can extend it. I'm just going to drag it through this knee into this side here if you want to. Really dead leg him, driving that knee into there. Slide down, cover. However you want your side control to be. 2 over, 1 over, wherever you're comfortable. Any questions? Let's see it again. 2, 3. Got the side control already. What I want you guys to do is from side control, I want you guys to go ahead and get in the Kesa. What I like to do when I'm here in Kesa, he's got a nice frame here. I'm gonna get this underhook. I'm gonna get this nice and deep. I'm gonna turn my head because I obviously don't want him to strangle me with this frame that he's got here. You can either push it down if you need to. You can get your head on the side of it. And all I'm gonna do, pull up on this arm. I'm gonna switch my hips, put this knee here. I'm just gonna trap it here. That's how you guys get in your cases, or any questions on how to get in the cases. Pretty simple. Coming here, he's got his frames. I got 2 over on my side control here. I'm nice and tight with my knees to the shoulder, knee to the hip, not a whole lot of breathing room where he's at. Get my underhook, force this down, turn my head to the side, Reaching over here, grabbing a sleeve or an elbow, whichever is more comfortable. Still staying nice and tight, nice and heavy. Switching my hips, driving this knee to the shoulder here. Coming here, I'm putting this leg to this hip here. Sitting here in Kesa. There's two things that I like to do when I'm over here in Kesa. I'm gonna let this arm drop a little bit. I'm gonna push this leg over. I'm gonna kind of guide it with my leg here, so that he doesn't just shoot this arm in here. If he does that, we'll get into that here in just a second. Drop this elbow down. I'm gonna force this arm over. This leg's gonna cut over. This leg's gonna come over. It's gonna come over and catch his wrist. Be very slow, patient with it. It will get really tight really quickly. I'll try and loosen up a little bit. You wanna come here. A lot of times, if I get it really deep in here, there's not a whole lot of pressure. Well, there's probably still a lot of pressure on that shoulder in there, a little bit. And all I'm doing, I'm just gonna slowly drop that leg over there. That's gonna do the Americana, if you guys know what that is. Put a lot of pressure on that shoulder here. Be nice and careful with it with your partner. When you're in a tournament, when you're in a tournament, I suggest just throw that leg over this wrist here and just drop your leg to the mat. It gets tight really quickly. Any questions on that? How to get to Kesa, how to get to the Americana. Pretty short and simple. Just dropping that elbow down, riding the wrist over, elbow down, riding the wrist over with your knee, guiding it over, sitting my hips in, kicking my leg up, forcing that wrist down at the same time. Gets to the Americana. You can see it again. Okay, we're going from side control. He's got his frames. Coming over here, getting into Kesa, coming back to this, right? Coming the arm over, got his arm pinned here, coming down here, and he's gonna slip his arm into this leg over here, which is fine. I can put it there if I want to, no big deal. Just gonna cross my legs here, stay nice and tight. I'm not getting real tall. This is a dangerous position where he's gonna start pushing me, kicking his legs out, grabbing my head. I'm staying nice and tight to him, keeping a lot of pressure on him. And all I'm gonna do, since I've got these legs figure forward here, I'm just gonna bring this knee up, and I'm gonna bring this knee over. I'm basically just gonna switch my hips this way. I'm gonna arm bar him in Kesa. So again, I'm over here inside. He's got this nice frame here on my neck. All I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get this underhook, slide it over, push it over, get it nice and deep over here. Grabbing this sleeve, switching over here to Kesa, arm over, put his arm into my hip here, staying nice and tight. Leg in, arm in underneath my leg. Figure four in this. All I'm doing is I'm going to slide the knee down a little bit off of his shoulder here. Get it nice and close to this elbow. That's going to be your pinpoint to really get that hyperflexion there. All I'm going to do is I'm going to switch my hips a little bit. Just rotate my hips over this way, kind of like you're tilting the rowboat. Nice arm bar from Kesa. Any questions from that? Need to see it again? 1, 2, 3. Back into side control here. Again, whether you got double over, you got one over, one under, doesn't matter. I, personally, when I'm going for this pass, so instead of going over to Kesa, we're now just gonna transfer over to top mount. I like to have double over while I'm trying this. I like to have this arm pinned to the mat here. You can pin it here, or you can pin it here and you can still have this frame, doesn't matter. Make sure your head's turned, kind of get your chin on it. Keep it here. All I'm gonna do, I'm gonna keep pressure down on the tip like we do when we go for our knee on belly. I'm switching my hips this way. I'm basically going the opposite way from the way that we went to Kesa. This knee is going into this hip over here. This leg's coming up here. Staying nice and tight, keeping a lot of pressure on him. All I'm doing is I'm grabbing this pant leg here, pulling it towards me, and stepping over. When I step over, I've got short legs. For you people with long legs, you might be able to step over and hit this mat. I like to swim over and catch a hook before I start coming over. So I've got this, pulling it towards me. It's like stepping over. I'm gonna throw a hook in. I'm gonna get a nice heel right there. Coming here, swimming over, getting my hooks. I'm taking this arm over with it as I come over, and I'm turning. I'm underhooking this elbow here, basically pushing it across his face. And I can be set here. I'm in a lot more controlled space rather than just trying to get to here, and now I gotta fight to start grabbing his hands. When I could just come from here and put his arm over his face. So again, nice and simple. He's got his frames. I'm pushing down, turning my head. All I'm gonna do is I'm gonna push down on this hip here, kicking my leg back. He's got this frame on this hip here, back here. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna kick this leg back, bring it back up and hit this hip here. Set my hip down against his rib cage. Grab my pant leg up by his knee over here. Nice and tight with my upper body. Can't move. Pulling it towards me. Stepping over, getting a hook. Taking this arm up underneath this elbow. Swimming over, pushing it across the face. Any questions? Need to see it again?
Yeah, one more time.
Okay. Again, he's got this frame in his hip here. That's where a lot of people are gonna frame. They're gonna start trying to push against you, shrimp out, get their guard back. What I'm gonna keep this one here. I'm not gonna try and fight it or push it away. I'm gonna leave it right here. All I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put pressure on this hip here. Grab a gi, pant leg, whatever. I'm just gonna put pressure down here. This leg's gonna kick back. I'm basically gonna sprawl out, switch my hips, bring this knee up into his hip over here. My hips are now gonna be attached to his rib cage on this side. Reaching up, grabbing this knee here, his pant leg, pulling it towards me, stepping over, hooking, going up underneath this elbow, coming through, taking the arm across the face. Top mount position. We have gotten this little advantage here, arm pinned across his face. Plenty of different routes that you can go to from here. A lot of times if I'm already up on him like this and his arm's across here, I'm just gonna bring my arm back. I'm gonna trap this wrist, bring it back across his face to get this Americana. You good?
Yeah, good.
Okay. So again, the way that this is gonna work is I'm keeping this kind of enclosed, keeping this kind of closed off. So when he brings that other arm in to try and block and grab his own wrist, not really a whole lot that he can do because I got my other arm blocking him from coming in with that. Then all I'm doing is I'm staying nice and tight. Basically gonna give him rug burn across his face with his gi here. Coming here, and as it gets to the other side, reaching across and grabbing my own wrist here. Coming through, and all I'm doing is I'm twisting my body. I'm not setting my hips up. All I'm doing is I'm just twisting my body back the way that we came. Turning this wrist over like a reverse motorcycle and bringing his elbow down close to his hip. And that's like the Americana we were doing at Kesa. Shoulders here, wrist is going back, put a lot of pressure on that shoulder here. So again, like I said, already have this nice advantage here where I've got his arm pinned here. I've got his wrist pinned with this arm over here. So all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring this back, tuck my elbow in, grab a hold of his wrist, slide it across his face, reach this one underneath, grab my own wrist, reverse motorcycle grip, and just twist it down to his hip. Are we cool with that? Any questions? Need to see it again?
I'll see it again.
Yeah. Are you good? You know how to do it?
Yeah. Down to every one of those guys.
So again, I'm in here, got my top mount, just got my advantage from the last pass that we did. This elbow's coming back, tucking this elbow in, I'm keeping it nice and tight. Grabbing this wrist, I like to grab it like this, palm to palm basically. Pushing this across his face here. This arm is coming underneath the tricep, underneath the bicep, tricep area, and grabbing my own wrist. And I'm pulling it down. Now that I pull it down, I'm gonna reverse motorcycle grip. I'm gonna turn my wrist out. I turn my wrist out, and all I do is pull it down to my hip. If you have a lot more flexible guy that doesn't have tore up shoulders, you know, can go a long ways or whatever, you're really gonna have to really turn that wrist over when you pull it down to your hip. If you get it all the way down here and you've got that motorcycle grip turned over and he's still not tapping, all you wanna do, shrug your shoulder up and lift that elbow up off the mat.
Okay.
And that'll get you that extra pressure on that shoulder. Again, a lot of guys in this sport, freaky, bendy, sometimes it's just weird what they can do.
Okay.
Any questions on anything? Cool. We can go about this. Because I've already got his arm over his face here, kind of across his head. All I'm gonna do is from here, instead of taking this arm back to get this Americana, I'm gonna tuck my head over here by his tricep. I'm gonna keep it nice and tight up against his face here. All I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring this arm back, so I'm in between his arm and his neck here. I'm gonna try and get underneath his head. Now, a lot of times when you guys are here and you've got this, he's going to be pressured down on his head quite a bit because he already knows this arm triangle is coming. So it's going to be really hard to get this hand up underneath. But if I take my knuckles kind of like this, like an ape would, and I rub it down back behind his head, I can really just start to inchworm it over behind his head. The knuckles will create a nice, it's weird, but it works. The knuckles will create a nice ramp, and it'll get that head posted on that there, and all you want to do is inch it across the neck. It's weird, but it works. So I'm here, I've already got this arm underneath his head. This arm's across his face. Again, I am short. I like to post out and bring him this way so that I can get to the bend of my elbow here. And all I'm going to do, I'm going to take this hand, I'm going to come up, grab him by the forehead, and instead of with these hooks here, I'm going to drive my hips down and I'll rub my shoulders forward. Now when I do this, so a lot of times when you do the arm triangle, people like to get out to the side so they can really flatten out and finish this. But when you really get this nice and tight and you've got that hand over the forehead here, if you just really shrug your shoulders forward and you start to crowd them on their face, it should finish the choke. That choke you? Just a little bit. Okay. Again, got this advantage here already from our pass. Coming here, dropping my head down, keeping this nice and tight. Gonna swim this underneath, the knuckles underneath, inch it through, post out, grab the inside of my elbow here, drop to this elbow, bring it up to his head, and all I'm doing is shrugging my shoulders here and crowding forward. It really closes off that space when you shrug your shoulders and crowd forward on it. Any questions on that? Hold on, back down really quick. I've been covering a lot of things with if this and if that. If I've got this arm triangle here, and let's say I don't have it very tight, he's been really fighting it, and I can't really, take your arm back over there. And I can't really get this tight to where I can finish it like this. All I'm gonna do is I'm gonna windshield wiper this over to his belly here. When I windshield wiper this over, I'm just gonna sit on it, slide through here to the side. When I get here to the side, that allows me to drop my hips, close off the gap a lot more, makes it that much tighter. That is if you can't finish it from the top position. Once you wipe your leg over, slide off to the side, finish it from there. Any questions? 1, 2, 3. No submission. I know, boring. We don't like these. But when it comes to this Americana that we were doing earlier, once I get to here, I have now opened up the space where he can now reach across to grab my hands and everything. You might have to like tilt and everything. You know. Once he gets to here, that's fine. Because then all I'm in here. If you've got this trapped here, we're gonna skip a step because we don't need to do that. I've already got his arm across. This is where I want it. All I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do just like I did my arm triangle, except I'm gonna go the opposite way. I can even pick up on his head if I need to. Reach across, I'm gonna grab this wrist right here. Now when I do that, then all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pressure him this way, set up in here in this modified S-mount here, reach through, get a 2-on-1, really make this tight. Sometimes it's tight enough you can even get this tapped if you straighten it out. If it's not tight enough, don't worry about it. Then all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a lot of pressure in the shoulder here, and I'm just gonna roll him back on him. And take him over here in the back control here. So again, I'm in here. I've already got his arm across the face, so if I need to, I can pick up on the head, run this arm through, or use the knuckle trick here, run it across. It's not comfortable, it sucks. Reach across here, push down this arm if it's not close enough to your hand, because again, I get short arms. Come in here, pressure it this way, get in this modified S-mount here, running this arm through. So you can grab your own wrist and really pull down on this and straighten your arms. You might be able to get a choke here. If not, that's fine. Pressure in here, really nice and tight, set this leg up underneath next to his back. All I'm doing is sliding off, rolling him over, taking him back. What I was gonna show is off of this Americana. If he reaches across and he really starts to pull this across, then you just put it right back to where it was. But obviously we could skip a step with the pass that we did, this transition we did before. Arms already across, go reach across the head, take that wrist control, pressure in. Any questions? Need to see it again? Cool.